Hello Cancer, I'm Ulrich, and today we will do your financial philosophical card reading for the month of March. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Cancer for the month of March, and these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below, and of course, as soon as I have time, I will answer you. So Cancer, here we go for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of March. Hello. Excuse me. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your philosophical financial card reading for the month of March. As your first card here, we see the heavy card of the deck. We see the card of heavy financial difficulties. For some people, this means bankruptcy. For some people, it means that they are in serious financial problems. But what does this card mean in detail? Well, probably it means that you have difficulties sleeping at night. Maybe you wake up in the evening or in the night, you think about money. Maybe your balance deficit has reached a point of no return. This will be an extremis, of course. If this is the case, for instance, if you're an independent and your business is not going as expected and you come in problems here, sometimes this card tells us to consider options offered by a bankruptcy specialist. Of course, before we start and going in that path, especially before we sign agreements here, we need to inform ourselves well here, consult more than a professional, evaluate the choices that are offered to us. There will be advantages and disadvantages, of course. Make sure that you understand the impacts and everything that is explained to you there, because such a decision, it has consequences here. Probably you need to change your lifestyle radically. The other side, if you are a private person and due to some reason you came in some difficulties, maybe you spend a little bit too much on your credit cards and the situation is really bad. Maybe if you are really in a difficult situation, you should consider talking to a social assistant. Maybe in your community nearby, there is somebody you can talk to. Maybe these people can help you for making some arrangements for your debts and helping you to work out a plan here for balancing out your debts. This is the other side here. Anyway, it points here that we will need to change certain consumption habits radically. If you are lucky and you did not reach that point yet, it's probably sure that you have financial worries. And here we should take about an immediate modification of certain behaviors that we have, especially regarding to spending. If you don't, this card tells us that you will hit the wall with your head here. So this is not a coincidence that this card is here. It has a reason. Excuse me. The next card that we are seeing here, this is the card of good or bad debts. What does this card tells us? Well, if we have credit cards, for instance, and these credit cards are not balanced out, this is considered to be a bad debt. Why is that? Well, on these credit cards, of course, if you don't balance them out, by the end of the month, you will pay interest. Some of these credit cards, if you have several, the credit card that always gives you money, even though it's already very low, below zero, that's probably one of the problems that you might have. Why is that? Why it keeps giving you money? Well, it's very simple. These credit cards, they are business people, but they are no longer in the category business. Actually, this is sharking. The interest that you pay, if you have such a card, is 20 to 30%. So be careful if you have such a card. Try to get rid of these cards. Try to balance them out if you still can, and try to get rid of these cards once and for all. They are not a very good tool to have in your wallet because mostly they bring us in problem. The positive side here of this card is if you have credit cards, you should also see that you use all the advantages of your credit cards. Possibly you have a credit card and you don't use all the advantages. There are certain stores, supermarkets that you visit and you don't implement all the advantages of these cards that are there. So this is the positive side of this card here. This is what we are seeing here, and here we are need to think about the quality of our debt and in what way it contributes to our advantage or our disadvantage. Excuse me. The next card that we have here is actually a positive card. It means that you can get out of this situation, but you will need to do it step by step. If you work out a plan step by step, this is the card of recovery. And it means by small steps, simply daily actions, you will be able to make changes. And you will see results, but these results will be very modest. They will go slowly. Maybe they are not in relationship to what you thought, but for yourself, they will be very important. Here, we should not compare ourselves also to others, and we should go our own way. Here also, we should make long-term perspectives. If it's not the first time that you come in financial problems, you should think about it. What you can change for the next time, what you can improve, what you should not do here, and you should think about the whole thing here. You should especially think what you need to change. If there are certain things in your life financially that you pay for and that are no longer working, you should get rid of those also. Here we need to be able to adjust here, to modify. This is what we are seeing here. Every person's in life, his path is different, and the path that you have chosen is your path. This is what we are seeing here. It means that you also have made positive decisions, because here, else this card would not be here. But also decisions that have made important impact on your budgets. Here we need to see that there are no big or small successes in life. Here, the purpose of this card is that you make an adjustment and that you create a lasting change that will make a difference in your eyes and in your life. So if you do the right thing here, you will make progress and you will persevere. But you need to focus here on change of life. So Cancer, this is all for the Shell or the Water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. Maybe you belong to another group of this reading. Anyway, I want to express also, if you want additional information, for instance, for your work, we do also work business card readings, so you can check them also. We do these with classic Lenormand card readings, and there are also the spiritual philosophical card readings. These are more like guides. Sometimes it's closely connected to spirituality or the God or whatever that applies on you, but you just check it out. The three of them, they make like a whole, and you will see here that you get with the three together, you get additional information. So you just check it out. We never know too much. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time. And I also want to thank you for subscribing to my channel. And of course, we see each other next time. Thank you, Cancer. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of March. As your first card here, we see the card of publicity. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that advertising is everywhere in our life. We look out of the window, we see advertisements. We open up the laptop, we see advertisements. The bus is passing by, we see advertisements. And of course, it has an impact on us. We are as individuals, we are exposed to many ads a day here. And sometimes it's difficult to be insensitive. to this bombardment of mercantile information, as so to say. Anyway, the propaganda that we are seeing here, or the publicity, it's everywhere, and so we get easily fooled. And sometimes it's difficult to distinguish our real needs, and we confuse them with luxurious goods or unnecessary things here. Sometimes we lose a little bit direction, this card tells us here, or we are about to lose direction here. There is like, we could have the feeling that there is a continuous pressure here from marketing upon us. So we are advised here to stop, read flyers. If you get flyers here, if you are in the mall, don't go to the discounted areas for gadgets or shoes or whatever it is here. You should here take some distance here with this card. So you should take a critical look here and stop these unpositive trends here. If you stop looking for ads, or you stop looking, or you stop let their influence come to you, you will go in another different daylight here, because this means that we are strongly influenced by publicity, and sometimes it can have a negative effect on our budget. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of awareness. What does this card tells us? Well, it tells us that we all think about, or most of us think about, improving our situation. This is the card about improving certain situations in your life. But this card tells us also, if you want to improve your situation, you are the one in charge. You are the one who have the ability to change your situation. If there is a certain denial that you have accepted, and you hope for better days, this card tells you it's not gonna happen. You need to be the main architect of your life for sustainability here. You have the power to change things, or you could choose for the status quo. But here this card urges us to improve ourselves here. Here also, sometimes also there are external elements here that influence our life. I'm aware of that, unforeseen events, and they can change or influence the course of our life. But actually, in general, it's the management that will make a difference for you. So here we have the card of publicity. So don't let yourself influence here by publicity here. But what is especially important here, that is, you take some time off. You need to reflect how to improve your life. You should write down what you like about your current condition and what you don't like. Make like a list and future your fears, your hopes, and especially make a plan of action to make it happen. You need to do this step by step. You don't need to put something like, tomorrow you want to earn so much. You need to do this gradually, step by step. You need to imagine things that are realistic by going step by step. This is very important here, that we don't make certain perspectives that are unreachable. We need to do it slowly, easy here. This is what we are seeing here. But this card tells us also not to stay passive. It's very important here not to stay passive here. So we should become more aware of the situation that we are in. And if you do so, if you think already about it and how to improve your life, it will improve your existence in general. The last card that we are seeing here is the card of heritage. What is this card tells us? Well, it tells us not to rely on certain monies for other people. Sometimes also it's about that we consider it unnecessary to accumulate some savings, or also that we don't consider it necessary to take care of for the retirement here. Maybe you're expecting some monies. Sometimes also this card is related to inheritances, but this card tells you, for going into the example of inheritances, don't be fooled at it. It's utopian, and it's also dangerous to rely on inheritance, certain monies that you are about to receive, and finance your old age or your projects that you are about to do solely with that. Also, we have the fact here, for going into the example of inheritance here, if your parents are not yet unfit here, we never have read their will, and therefore we are not sure that we are their sole heir. And we will not be till they take their last breath. So don't make this mistake. This card tells you. Firstly, life expectancy, for adding expectancy, it has exploded over the last decades, and our parents, they will, or your parents will likely live much longer than their ancestors. And as they get older, and we will get older also, we gradually will need those savings to pay for services suited for their survival conditions. And of course, no one can blame them because they work for it. Secondly, each individual has the right to change their testimonial dispositions at any time. And we never know that mother or father, they will not succumb to the young Venus living next door, or Cupid they met on the internet. And they will not decide to favor this her or him at the expense of the descendants. So this is like, this card wants you to keep you safe. Monies that you are about to get, they can be part of a plan, a business plan, a retirement analysis, but nevertheless, we should be very careful. So if you have plans, make those plans independently and you will come out as a winner. So this is all for Cancer, for the air group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 groups will fit you. If you have interest in work business card readings, things related to your business or your work, you can find those also on my channel. We do these with classic Lenormand card readings. And of course, we do the spiritual philosophical card readings. They are more spiritual guidance that we see there. Sometimes also there are messages in there from higher authorities, as to say, but we keep it all very feet on the ground. But you just check it out. You will gain more information about all the things that are there. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, the time you spend on my channel. I thank you for subscribing to my channel, and of course, we see each other next time. Bye-bye, Cancer. See you next time. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Earth or the Stone group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of March. As your first card here, we see the value of the small amounts of money, or small bills, small coins. What does this card tells us? Well, it tells us that we probably should pay attention to small amounts of money that we are spending. It doesn't matter if we pay this cash or with the credit card here, but this card tells us that it's important here if we spend small amounts of money, that we keep track of it. Sometimes a lot of people who struggle to meet ends tend to minimize the impact of these small amounts that they are spending, and they don't see the things on the long run. Even if the amounts are very small that you are spending here, give it your sincere attention, take a critical look, even if it's a small expense here or it's a little bill that you pay here. It's wisely here to keep the things under restrictions here. Also, we are asked here to ignore discounted items here. You need to give the money, your money that you work hard for, back its real value. If you always spend, sometimes we are blinded here and we don't have an overview. Sometimes it's also wise to pay cash. If you tend to spend a lot with a credit card, sometimes it's wise to pay cash, because if you put the money in your wallet, you see how it's disappearing. It's another trend here, and it's something out of the time of the dinosaur, I know, but sometimes it can help you for keeping your things under control if you have certain difficulties, control issues for spending money. And just remember, this card tells us that it takes a lot of small coins or small bills to create 100 that forges into thousands. So with this card, it means that each coin for you as a person is of great importance. So the next time you visit a store or a supermarket, before you go to the cashier, rate what you have bought and look at your articles and ask yourself what is really necessary for you. And then the question comes again, are you valuing what you are buying? So then if you make an overview, you will see that you're tend for overspending because you look before you are there. It's going less here, and we will get back the value of our money. So here we are urged to give the small amounts of money, the little coins and the little bills, it's moment of glory. And if you do so, you will see that you are able to accumulate hundreds in amounts of savings, which is important for you, maybe for the future. The next card that we are seeing here is a card of the debts. What is this card tells us? Well, it tells us there are good and bad debts. What is a good debt? Well, we will start with the bad debts. What is a bad debt? Well, a bad debt is a debt on your credit card. For instance, your credit card is always below zero. It's not there below zero without any consequences. It means if it's below zero, you pay interests. These interests, they add no value on what you have. It means if you buy an article that you pay more for it because the interests that you have on that card make you pay more. So here we are, it tells us, this card, that we need to realize this is the case. And it has no economical value for you. It don't contribute to your financial stability. Unpaid debts here, some of these credit cards, maybe you have a credit card that always gives you money, maybe you have several, but mostly people have one credit card that always gives them money. No matter how low they are below zero, this card always gives you money. What they forget is that this card charges you astronomically high interests. Don't be surprised if you get charged 20 or 30%. I know for some people this is like they hear something in the clouds, but this is a lot of money here that monthly you pay here. The only thing that you do with in that case is making these people very wealthy, because this is no longer business. These are sharks. So be careful if you have such a card, and try to balance it out or try to get rid of it for all, because these are not an asset to yourself here. The positive side of this card is if you have your own property and you have a mortgage, mostly we can deduct the expenses of the mortgage from our taxes annually. So it means also added to that the value of our property, in most cases land and houses, every year the value goes up. It's mostly now in these times, in most regions, it's a solid value. And this is what we are seeing here. So if you have certain debts on your house, this is considered to be a positive debts, because you can deduct this from your taxes, and the value of the property, it goes up. So this is what we see here also with this card. So if you want to make investments in your house, even small investments, this is money that will add to your value. This is what we are seeing here with this card. So here we are asked to think about the quality of our debts and in what way that it contributes to your personal improvement. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of heritage. What does this card tells us? Well, this card tells us that probably you are, sometimes this card tells us that that some people might in this group find it unnecessary to accumulate certain savings for retirement. Maybe you're expecting certain monies. It's also possible that you are about to make an investment with money that you are about to receive. And you think because of this money, it will save your life and it will make you secure. But this card tells you to be very careful with that approach. It's a utopian that we don't secure ourselves for the future here. It's dangerous to rely on certain monies, inheritance, purely to finance certain projects or to finance your old age. Also, unless your parents are already unfit for keeping up to that example here, you have never read their will, and therefore you are not sure that you are their sole heir, and you will not be until the lawyer or the notary, they read the will for you. So don't make this mixed mistake. I don't want to cause panic here, but I'm just making certain distinctions here. Anyway, firstly, life expectancy for adding has also exploded over the past decades, and our parents will likely live much longer than their ancestors, as we will. So as they get older, they may gradually need these savings to pay for services suited to those survival conditions. And of course, we cannot blame them because they work for the money. Secondly, each individual, they have the right to change their testimony dispositions at any time. And we never know if mother or father, they will not succumb to the young Venus living next door or Cupid they met on the internet. And they will not decide to favor this person at the expense of the descendants or you. So here we see that certain monies or an inheritance or whatever it is, here it can be part of a retirement analysis, or it can be part of an investment policy, but nonetheless, we should be very, very careful with it here. This card tells you to plan your investments and your old days independently, and you will come out as a winner. So Cancer, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interest in work card readings or business readings related to your work or your business, you can find those also on my channel. We do this with the classic Lenormand card readings. And we also have the spiritual card readings. They are more like spiritual guiding. The 3 make like a whole, and you can connect the 3 and it makes you wiser for the months to come. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time you spend on my channel. I also want to thank you for subscribing to it. And of course, we see each other next time. Bye-bye, Cancer, and thank you. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Fire or the Matches group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of March. As your first card here, we see the card of heritage. What does this card tells us? Well, it tells us if we are planning certain investments, if we are about to receive certain monies, maybe from an inheritance or money from whatever side here we are about to receive here, we should not solely depend on that money for continuing with our lives here. Here, this card tells us not to be fooled. It's utopian and dangerous here that we solely depend on that here, especially if this is related to business or your old age here. Let's assume that this money comes from your parents that you are about to receive. Unless these people are already unfit, we have not read their will, and therefore we are not sure that we will be their sole heir. We can never be until their last breath. We don't know until the notary or the lawyer reads the will here. So don't make this mistake for the monies that might become to you soon. Firstly, also, we see here, and we need to acknowledge that life expectancy, it has exploded over the last decades, and your parents will likely live much longer than their ancestors. And as they get older, they may gradually need these savings to pay for services suited to their age and their survival conditions. And of course, no one can blame them because they work for it. Secondly, each individual, has the right to change their testimony dispositions at any time. And we never know that mother or father, they will not succumb to the young Venus living next door or Cupid they met on the internet. So, and they will not decide to favor this person at the expense of the descendants. So here we see that investments or inheritance or monies that you are about to receive, they can be part of certain investments, but nonetheless, we should be very careful here. This is what we see here with this card. So plan your investments, your old days, your pension independently, and you will come out as a winner. The next card here is the card of that we need to accept our current situation. Maybe some things happened in our life. We are in a certain path of our life. We are in a certain situation. This points sometimes also that that we want to improve in our life, that we probably want to get promotions in our work, that we want to hire up ourselves in our life. But for today, if this promotion is not yet there, we must accept our situation for what it is. Here we see also that we need to manage our money well. This is the card that wants us to realize here that it's important to manage your finances in a very structural and smart way. This card tells you that it's not necessarily totally positive if you get an increase of income. It will ease things, but here this card tells us we need to live comfortably with what we earn. Here we see that with this card, we can all aspire to the American dreams, of course, but it depends, of course, on your point of view. Here now it's important that we learn to manage, and we need to learn to set certain priorities. We need to accept also with this card that there will always be people better off than we are. But also we need to realize that there are many people in current conditions and in current days, in this current situation, especially with all these problems that are around the world caused by health conditions everywhere, that there are a lot of people that are worse off than we are. They are poorer, they lost their money, sometimes they cannot even eat 3 times a day. Anyway, the bottom line here is it doesn't matter what you earn, but it's how you manage the money that you get. Here we must make a very good balance between our income and our expenses. It can be important on the long run, as the first card already told us. And whatever our income or our savings might be, it's our action, the way we interact with money that tells us if we are short or from money or not. So improve your life by spending less or within your means. The last card is the card of food. What is the card? This card tells us, well, it tells us that for starters, that we should eat healthy. This card tells us that we live in a hectic world and we need to eat healthy. Maybe this card, maybe you work hard, because we see here that there is a lot of ambition in this reading. And maybe because you work a lot, you buy a lot of takeout meals, you go often to restaurants, we cook less and less. Here we see that maybe it's time to cook more ourselves again. We all know that cooking is an art form, it takes time. So here we are asked to dust our pots and pans and start cooking again. If you are not a good cook yet, here also the people who are not good cooks, they are urged to learn, at least to learn the basics. It's easy to go to the mall and buy things that are already prepared for us. But actually, if you give yourselves a lesson, there's a lot on the internet now. It's easy to learn certain basic things here. And it costs you nothing. You just open the internet and you know here. And here we are. If we don't know, this card tells us we need to learn at least the basics. This is what we are seeing here. It probably tells us, this card, that there are a lot of expenses going to takeouts, and we should reduce this more. You should devote yourself more to pots and pans if you did that before, and if not, you should learn it for reducing certain expenses here. If you reduce this, you can use this money for something totally different. Maybe, as we saw earlier, you want to make certain investments, and you can use this money for certain investments. Each little bit of money, it's important sometimes. So we should break the chain here of overspending for takeouts here and plan more home cooking. So learn the joy of culinary art. If you already know, start it again. You will eat better, you will feel better, and of course, you will be financially a lot better off. So Cancer, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interests in how your work will evolve or how your business will evolve, we do also work and business card readings. We do these with the classic Lenormand card readings. You can find them on my channel. And there are also the spiritual philosophical card readings. The 3 of them give you an overview, a better overview over the month to come. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time you spend on my channel. I want to thank you for subscribing, and we see each other next time. Bye-bye, Cancer.